Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 706 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm back. I'm your host, Christian Piles, back from Oslo. I'm joined today by Ben Funky Askren, JD Raider, and there's a dog here, too. You don't see him, and you might not hear him, but you're going to see him right now. His name is Murphy. He is a little puffball there.
Whose dog is that?
That's not my dog.
This is my dog.
That's JD's dog. That's his guard dog.
Oh man,
JD is
a vicious killer.
He's very vulnerable, so he has to have the dog here. Hey, back from amazing World Championships. A lot to get into from there. I won the success that Team USA had was phenomenal, and the ups and downs and the undulations of we're gonna do it. Oh no. Wait, we're back, and then just a little bit. Then you got nothing but nits to pick about. We do this thing happens, we win, and it's a little similar on the women's side as well. But I mean, there's no denying we're the greatest freestyle nation in the world, right? That's unquestionable at this point. It's just a matter of are we going to ascend to the top of both? And I think, I kind of maintain Will our women's team will eventually pass Japan? I think we'll eventually pass them, almost certainly for good. Like it'll be almost kind of like how Russia is now with us in the men's side.
How far off?
I'm sorry, I can't remember why you said that. Why do you say that again?
Because our athletes are coming through, and that's it. We're just
women's wrestling here is still it's relative infancy.
It's so new, and right now I think we're getting out. That is a program of process but I think when the same program as the men's program, it's just we have amazing athletes in the men's program. That's why Japan is where they are. This is my opinion, right? It's an opinion, and I think eventually our athletes are going to get in all these weight classes, and we're really good right now. We're in a golden age of women's wrestling, but we're only getting better, and we've got these young athletes that have the benefits that Helen and Adeline even really didn't have, and Tamira, of all the infrastructure with the teams and the age level and that development, and there's just more access to better coaching, and the sport's growing, and in I think it's maybe 5 to 10 years before it happens, but I think it's going to happen. On the men's side, I think it's always going to be a dogfight with Russia, and I think eventually we're gonna beat them some years they're going to beat us. There's all these little things that could have happened, and you don't want to isolate anyone. Unfortunately, one of the hardest things I really felt for, and I don't think Kyle carries it or wears it or even worries about it, but man, the fact that it is coming down to Kyle so many times, and it just seems like it all hinges on him. I think it's really crappy that you have to beat maybe the greatest wrestler ever to do that, and all that kind of pressure. I don't think he carries it or feels it, but I know something. I was talking with Jaden afterwards. He's like, man, it sucks for Kyle that this was after the match, and it kind of comes down to him every time. When really it was, if this thing happened, if one of our guys wins a silver or gold instead of silver,
even if they would have lost that bronze match at 70 kilograms, then the Said July Snyder match wouldn't have mattered.
Yes. So it was all these little things, and was that our window to beat Russia because speculation it wasn't their best team or whatever? I mean, it was a pretty freaking good team. They sent 7 number ones. They sent
one. Then you say like at 65, it's not like they could get more points. They got the maximum.
Exactly, and kind of spare me on the Rashidov. The guy's won at one time. I mean, he's really good, but he's not some freak of nature. Guy. I mean, this Chakiev is going to be good, and man, Magomedov. They're saying the 61 world champ, who is as good as anyone I watched wrestle, he's going up apparently, which will be really exciting to watch how that.
We're gonna have a good team race, or not team race, but a good wrestle off for the 65 spot.
Absolutely,
next year.
Absolutely, and I love that guy. I think he's really good. I mean, it's hard to know where to start with this, with Worlds recap and everything going on. I will say the most exhilarating, interesting, difficult part was that day, and I don't know how it felt watching, but in the room, that day that Iran had, when they literally won every
I
match,
think they went like 16-0 or something like that.
and all those semis, and it was funny because the first match, the 57 guy, Sarlacc, he wins, and you're like, he comes from behind, you're like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's like, because the how unglued, it was not like, oh, it was mostly Iranian fans. It's like, there was basically no other fans other than Iranian fans. Like, the Team USA contingent was just like our wrestlers and coaches that weren't wrestling. There was not a lot of USA fans for obvious reasons.
So I got a question. Sorry, I got a question. I heard that the fans from America weren't allowed in. I saw a couple specific posts. Why were there all the other fans allowed in? Because I saw the person from America posting initially, and then I saw all the fans, and I thought, what in the world is going on here?
Well, really, I mean, as far as fans that were there, it was Iranians who are not from Iran. These are people that live in
Swedish
like Norway, Norway, right?
Oh,
So
you're in Norway, yeah. Duh.
So there was, there were some Norway fans, there were some Swedish fans, but really in the arena itself, there were no other real groups of fans. It was all people from that area. So yeah, I mean, we had to have a letter from UWW with all this specific stuff that said we were coming there to cover the World Championships. Otherwise, yeah, like just a fan, it would have been really tough for them to go, if possible at all. So, but after they won that 57, they're like, oh, this is cool. And then after it happened the second time, or you're like, oh, this is going to happen. It's going to be like this today. And then you know that the Yazdani Taylor match is like at the end, you're like, is this going to be as the time it happens? And even going in, I'm curious, I know you probably have talked about it, but I'm curious what your thoughts were with that match, with how it was trending going into the second period. Because to me, I felt, hey, we're headed back. We're headed down the same road. You know what I'm saying?
Man, yeah. So I guess I would say it didn't look like, and then it didn't play out as Yazdani didn't get as tired as he did in the other matches. So I think that was kind of I was at. I mean, it did look like when David got it on the first opportunity that, hey, maybe he's going to be able to convert this. And then, I think we didn't convert on the first takedown. Then it was like, oh, man, we're going to have a hard time scoring these takedowns to win this match.
Yeah, I thought David talked about it pretty at length. He's like, I didn't finish the single. If I finish the single, I probably win. I didn't finish it, and so, basically I lost. And I guess that's where the margins are.
I went back and rewatched, and I did a video on it too. That's on the site, but Yazdani also made a clear emphasis to go to back to the underhook, which he went away from in Tokyo. He didn't get to his underhook from standing until a minute 10 into the match in Tokyo, and only spent like 42 or 43 seconds total. Part of that was in a grounded off David Taylor shot in the first period in Tokyo versus a minute and a half in Oslo. I think that kind of helped. Like, Yazdani's comfortable in an underhook. He's not going to get as worn out versus when it's David Taylor collar tying and working his ties. I think that helped a lot.
Well, was it Yazdani staying away from it, or David able to stay out of it at the Olympics?
No, and it was Yazdani not going to it. He didn't even attempt it as much.
Yeah, that's weird.
In Tokyo. So I think he might have game planned to try and mix it up and get less tired in Tokyo, possibly, but was like, what am I doing? I underhook.
Yeah, there was so much time in over-under where there's, basically, once you're in there, it's sort of tough to fight your way out of it. It was just, he was able to chew up so much time just from getting to those positions.
And avoid scrambles. When you're in there, David Taylor's not shooting and you're not scrambling.
There was basically no scrambles in the entire match.
Even when he took his one shot, his cross knee pick, he ended up coming to the closer one, but that was a quick finish.
Yeah, right away.
Yeah.
So it was a great match. It was just absolutely unglued in there. I don't know how did it feel watching? Was it like, did the Iranians' day feel inevitable after a couple of those comeback wins?
I didn't think so. Like, no. I still thought David was going to get him, and even late, because when Yazdani came out pretty strong, it's like, he's not going to last. And then David got that takedown. It's like, here we go, just like every other time. But he couldn't finish that single.
Yeah, he kind of lasted. Good endurance. Unfortunately, this time.
Yeah,
So
I would love to see it again. It's a fun rivalry for sure.
I'm much more excited for their next match versus Live Snyder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
We are going to see it again, right, Christian? Next year, pretty soon.
Oh, what do you mean? Which one?
Well,
both,
Yazdani
probably.
Taylor is going to happen again.
I would assume.
For
Oh
sure,
yeah.
next year.
I mean man, what? But also, we're probably gonna see Snyder Live again. What's getting in the way of that?
Well, I mean, right now, Yazdani and Taylor are so separated from the pack, and Kyle still has had some tough matches. I mean, he's made the final twice now, but Yazdani and Taylor are just like so far above everybody else in their weight class. Unless there's an injury or something else, they're gonna wrestle. Snyder, I mean, I see him making the finals, but he's obviously had some difficult matches in the last year or so.
Yeah, I agree. I think with Yazdani, Taylor, yeah, it's exactly what you said. And man, how Kyle made the finals is like, I've watched that so many times, and I cannot put myself in his opponent's mind what he was. I have no idea what he was thinking. That's like, it's one thing to be leading and try to protect your lead, and you deviate from your game plan, and then you get taken down, right? We've seen that play out. But for him to just like 8 seconds left, take just a brutally bad shot on the edge there to get a pointless step out. I mean, I say pointless, but you've got the match won, and Kyle just couldn't get his offense off against this guy. And to do that,
Kyle was so close right before that, though, Christian. That
one flurry, was
right before that. It was like, I really thought he was going to get it. He just didn't quite get it.
And my thought on that sequence leading into that one is that took so much out, because just 6 minutes with Kyle is just a lot for all of them. And I think that previous sequence actually is what won it for him. And that dude just lost his mind from exhaustion from that previous moment, and then just took a shot that and got pancaked through. It was awesome, but I could not believe it happened. We got the clip here. If you didn't see it live, it's 8 seconds left, and it's not some super pretty pancake or anything. It's just like Kyle just horses him up and throws him by. I couldn't believe it when it happened, and maybe he thought he would be able to drive him out for that step out.
I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah,
man, that was good. So the other thing, I guess, I wanted to bring up a little bit earlier when we were talking about the team race, and that could have affected. And Russia, you could argue they didn't bring all their number ones, but the big differentiator for me was that our best guys did what our best guys do, right, and they placed really well. And the real down part was, at some of these other weight classes where we think, hey, they're not as deep because some of the guys aren't coming. Yanni didn't get any high-level points. James Green got a couple points, I think, for it was seventh place or eighth place or something. Mm-hmm. But that would have been like, if we could have just got a few more points out of those dudes, that would have been a nice difference maker also.
That's where I think the shallow field actually kind of helped Russia. A lot of times you'll see where they have guys that do that and don't place, but because of the shallower field, pretty much all of them medaled. I'm trying to think off the top of my head if any of them didn't.
They didn't medal one or two.
Yeah, they got 8 medals.
Heavyweight.
Yeah, but they'll have 1 or 2 more versus not almost all their guys came back for bronze, at least this time around.
Yeah, I mean that was a huge thing. I mean, if Yanni just had Sebastian Rivera's draw, we probably win.
That's good.
We hit. I think ultimately it'll be good for Yanni the way it played out for him, because I think Tavanian wrestled the exact kind of style that's going to give someone like Yanni problems.
Yeah.
Like position, don't engage, no exchanges, like none. And
he had to get in there and bang him a little harder. I mean, really, if you get physical with him. Yeah,
maybe so. But and then that guy tries that same thing, and he goes up against Gadziev of Poland, who basically has the same strategy but better. And
who's the king of nothing?
What a thorn that guy has been in our side. Jo, Yanni here, and then
no. Gadziev knocked out James Green.
Yeah, he's 70 kilos.
Oh yeah. Wow, I'm really missing.
He is a pain in our butt. Listen,
Rama beat James,
Bayramov,
and then
yeah.
he lost to him next round.
Yes, by Ramoff. Yes, and then he.
Yeah. Well, I mean, freaking Gadziev's the worst. He's terrible. He does nothing at all.
He really just. Yeah, he has gamed that. It's pretty tough to game the freestyle thing, but he pretty much gamed the rules to a world title. It's pretty tough to do, but he did it. But yeah, he did jam us up a little bit there. So yeah, I mean Yanni, we thought. Listen, we had huge expectations for Yanni coming into this, and we thought world title, a world medal. We thought the streak was broken. I think we unanimously said, "Hey, the streak's going to get broken," and then I think
streak's going to get broken.
And then it didn't happen. And if it had, we would. I mean, there all these little things, and we win a title. So that was my broader point about Kyle. When it comes down to him, it didn't really come down to him, but it did. Just because it's tough and. Yeah, so looking at the team moving forward, I'm curious how much different. Where do you see the weights where we can have some real turnover? Because I think so much of our team is set.
Yes, I think we're going to have 7, 8 of the same guys in the next 2 to 3 years.
I agree. I think, sure. And I don't know who's. And if you look at the guys, who's vulnerable? Maybe Quiz, but not really.
Well,
it's tough to.
Spencer's going to wrestle off Gilman.
Hopefully,
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, he's going. Okay, he's going. At some point, it's going to happen. Yeah, at some point it will happen
if he's healthy.
Stop. It's going to happen at some point.
He's wrestled one senior level freestyle tournament ever.
Okay, listen, it's going to happen at some point.
I'm saying I hope so.
They might have to bring him in a wheelchair. It will happen, okay? Gilman. I'm sorry, Gilman. You guys got me distracted. Dayton Fix. A lot of those guys before the last month and a half, I would say, well, Dayton Fix is going to be really competitive and back and forth with. Now, he's kind of murdered all those guys.
What if
trials.
Vito moves up?
You look at Worlds. Who?
Vito.
Listen. That Dayton,
I don't feel like these dudes. Yeah, Dayton. I don't feel like it. I don't feel like he's vulnerable.
I don't either. I don't see. He's sitting out. 61. He's sitting out.
Yeah.
I mean,
you got to beat him twice.
The difference between that Dayton. I mean, we saw it at trials. We said it as soon as we saw it. Okay, different. Or maybe not different. More the words different. He's back. Right. Definitely different from what we had seen. Olympic trials. Even NCAAs, and you could maybe just point to really the Roman and maybe a little of the DeSanto match.
But not different. Christian, to your point, it was different. That was the best Dayton we've ever seen by far. I mean, even the one that made the team by beating Gilman didn't have a huge amount of success at Worlds. That was for sure the best Dayton.
This dude teched his way to the World Finals.
I was going to say, yes. I mean, listen, it's the best version of Dayton ever, no doubt. But we saw him chew through Junior Worlds in similar fashion. Right. And that's not some chump tournament. That's one of the toughest tournaments in the world, and not just weight class wise. And he destroyed everyone in it. And that's the last time I remember him really, really doing it all the way through like that. And what he did to his side, which was a tough side and a tough draw that had a world champion on his side, and he just killed everyone. And then he went close with a guy that chewed through everyone. And Magomedov's going to go on, and he's going to have a great career. And he won 6 straight senior world tournaments. So, I love Vito, and I'm kind of like all too off. I think Vito's amazing, but I end up picking him to lose more frequently than not. But I think the matchup for Dayton versus Vito, I've always thought it's just a good matchup for Dayton because of Vito's going to come at him you just can't take this guy down. He's just like, when he's on Dayton Fix, it's like, man. And then plus the parterre, such a
good. That's how he gets one chance on top. Boom, he scored.
And that was one of the big differences. Is like he didn't get a chance on top against Magomedov. I still think he could have won that match if a few little things happened differently. If he gets to work on the edge to finish that takedown, it's a different thing. If he gets to work to finish the exchange that was stopped prematurely.
So I was thinking about it. We had texted about that initially. I agreed with you. As I think back on it, he was not in very good position. And then seeing how well Magomedov did that second period against leg attacks was like, oh man, he probably was. The chances he was scoring that were pretty small.
Well, maybe not.
I mean, it's kind of like that Chirella defense where we're draping the side. He was so strong there. Like,
Ridiculous.
He was in a lot of trouble. Yeah, he was in a lot of trouble at the end of the first period also, where that guy was about to go behind him too.
Sidikov did the same thing against Kadi Magomedov in the Olympic finals. They just fold dudes from there. Like, it looks easy. Yeah. It's Askren-esque, dare I say.
Only when I'm wrestling the high school kids.
There you go. Hey, it still counts. It still counts. So, yeah, he so if you want to talk about the quote-unquote vulnerable weight classes, I guess you could say 57 with Spencer. I mean, you can say it, but man,
65.
We're talking about a world champ. 65,
Nick
but
Lee.
Nick Lee for sure is a potential disruptor. If Zane comes down, he's a disruptor. Obviously, he's a former world teamer.
Joey took one match too in the finals.
Joey took a match. Is Jordan done with 65? It doesn't seem like that would make sense. If he's going through 24, he's going to have to come back down. So 65 is only going to get tougher domestically, and 65 is only going to get tougher internationally.
Hey, Jordan did confirm, broke your heart, he's going back down to 74. That is his plan.
Listen, there's still time to work my master plan. He's not going this year, he's
not this year.
He's gonna have some more time. Listen, my master plan is clear. He needs to not go back down. He needs to go up. Now, my master plan will probably not come to fruition, but man, go out full and see what you can do.
He could get redemption for 2016, sort of.
What do you mean? Oh, against Yazdani?
Yazdani won his bracket in 2016.
Yeah, I mean, the path to get on the team is going to be ridiculous for him. You're talking, at that time, 86 in 2024. David's going to be sitting out, almost guaranteed. You're going to have Aaron Brooks, Zahid Valencia, Jordan. I mean, that four right there. Yeah, Trent will be in there. So that's going to be insane. But, man, look at how – I mean, Jordan looked great. I think the weight is a big difference. I mean, that's not even – to me, it's obvious that's the difference, right? And you can say maybe am I giving too much credit to that? I don't know. But watching what he was able to do against Dake there versus what he was able to do to this world field, I just think it's a different thing. And Dake certainly could have just – pass Jordan by. I think that's part of it too. That could be a thing, right? But I also think you don't get I'd love to see that match at 79. That'd be fun. I'll say this. That's a more interesting match at 79 than 74.
You making a lot of the weight. Let's call it 76 and a half. Cut it in the middle.
What's wrong? I mean, Kyle Dake's a 2-time world champ at 79 kilograms.
Yeah. I'm just messing with you.
Okay.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm off there, and maybe it's a smoke signal from JB. You never know. Yeah, I'm coming down. Yeah, I'll be coming back down. No, going up.
Hey, I don't want to burst your bubble, but I've been listening to this guy David Sinclair, who's aging expert. And he's coming out with a test where you can do a mouth swab and test your biological age. So we will soon be able to prove or disprove Kyle Dake's hypothesis
of cellular health. Are you gonna swab his mouth?
Well, the problem is we don't have one from a few years back. Yeah, so we could sneak up and maybe when he drinks a water bottle, we swipe it there, and then we have his age and he doesn't even know, and then we could test.
I bet Dake does.
We get one now. I
don't know that they're for sale right now, but he was talking about in the near future it will be a possibility.
All right, we need to go. We just need to get a sample now and just test it in like 4 months, in 5 months, 1 year, and we'll see. Okay, he's older or younger, and then we'll know for sure. Let's talk about Kyle Dake, his performance, winning 74 kilograms. We felt super confident going to the Olympics he was going to win. Didn't work out, but at 74, we felt good that he was going to be the champion here. Just your overall thoughts on his performance. And Sal Kazanov from Slovakia was obviously fantastic.
He was good. I mean, there was a slight amount of worry when Salgazana was able to get it on a couple shots that kind of we almost like blew through him, like Jordan Burroughs was not able to do. But yeah, I mean, Kyle Dake pretty much controlled the entire tournament from start to finish. And I want the match. I don't want to see Burroughs versus Dake. I mean, I would, but I don't twist my arm. But the match I really want to see is Dake versus Sidakov. It's the one match we've seen him versus Chamizo. We've seen Chamizo Burroughs. We've seen Sidakov Burroughs. We've seen Dake. We've seen Dake Burroughs. We have not seen Dake Sidakov. So it's so unfortunate that we haven't been able to see this yet.
Yeah, I want to see it too. Very obviously. And, you know, we talked to Kyle about, hey, those guys weren't here, Kadi Magomedov. And I said, are you surprised they weren't here? He's like, not at all. He's like, I knew they weren't going to come. He's like, he was basically like, they don't do this for the reasons that we do it, right? I do it because I just love doing this. They do it for the lifestyle it gives them. And they weren't going to be here, and I knew it. But he really hopes he's there in 21. I'm sure or 22. And I think he will be. I think he'll be coming back then. And you know
Is Chamizo done? Because he's kind of getting older a little bit.
Is he getting older? I guess so. I mean, he made a world final in like 2010.
I bet he goes through 2024.
He's got to go through 24 at this point. Let's see, how old is our man?
29.
29. He's got it.
Plus, Cubans age very well.
They freaking do. It was too bad Cuba wasn't there at Worlds. But yeah, Dake, he wrestled awesome. It was cool seeing Jordan and Dake go back to back, like they did. We're really skipping around a lot. We talked a little about Yanni and James.
That's definitely my fault. I got ADHD. Can't help it. Sorry.
Yeah, you got HGTV. It's all right.
HGTV.
Gilman. Great performance by him. He continues to look awesome. It felt inevitable after he pinned Mudaliev. It's like,
that was awesome.
Well, he's I mean, that was the crazy day. That was when we went like 16-1 or something, just absurd. And you're like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. And that just shows how hard. And then the next day it was like, Iran's gonna do this. And then it's like, no. This is Russia. This is our tournament. But Gilman looked awesome. I mean, I'm surprised how competitive the Iranian was with him, and it's sort of competitive, sort of not.
Because he was up 5-0.
He was up 5-0, exactly.
Yeah.
But that Sarlac's good, man. I mean, I think we thought coming in whatever, and then fluke win over Atley, but
yeah.
He straight up beat him, and then he looked good against Gilman, but Gilman's just on a different level right now, and he's sitting out at 57, and we'll see who comes through. If it's spent, and I don't know how to segue this, but listening to Tom and Terry Brand's interviews had me fired up for the upcoming college season. If you haven't listened to Andy Hamilton, Kyle Klingman's interview with all these Iowa guys, including Tom and Terry, they're fantastic. And Terry was talking about COVID and how it jammed things up and set some things back. And he said, listen, let's call it what it is. If 2020 happens the way it was supposed to, Spencer Lee's an Olympic champion, right? He's basically saying he beats Gilman. And then Terry sort of alluded to like Thomas leaving because of Spencer, right? Now that's their opinion and their perspective, but that's what was more or less alluded to. So it got me all the more excited for that potential matchup because they saw those battles and said, hey, this is how it was going to go.
They saw those battles with 2019, early 2020 Thomas Gilman, though.
Well, sure.
It's Thomas Gilman different.
That is, dude, it is true. Gilman has taken some steps for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean,
he's jumped the same levels as Dayton.
What's that?
He's jumped the same levels as Dayton.
Yeah, Thomas Gilman's jump levels. It's different. Thomas Gilman.
Yeah, I mean he's Olympic bronze and a world medal. We didn't think that was, but I mean,
I want to see the match still, but it's different. It's definitely.
Yeah, I'm not saying
Thomas Gilman.
I'm picking him to beat Spencer. I'm just saying, can't always go off of that match 2 years ago.
No, no doubt. But I mean, it's an interesting perspective that they have, and I think that was the widely held perspective going into April. Everyone thought this is what's going to happen. Spencer's going to make the team in the Olympics.
Yeah, and but a lot of people thought Nick Suriano was going to beat Thomas Gilman also, and now what we've seen Thomas Gilman jump levels, and so listen, I'm excited to see Spencer Lee versus Thomas Gilman, but I am far from writing this as a foregone conclusion because Terry Brands tell me that's going to be the case.
So what would you say? Okay, Ben, I want your opinion on this.
Yeah,
so you're watching Thomas Gilman. What are you seeing that is different?
I think he's talked about it. I think it's a certain level of I said at the Olympics, the single leg finishing was a really big deal. I think he's kind of wrestling more complete and a little more relaxed. It's kind of what it comes down to.
I think
a little mindset shift.
I mean, I'm watching him, and it's the same stuff he always won with, in my opinion. It's underhooks, position, single legs, pace.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, this is how I judge everything. It comes down to functionality. The results he's gotten in the last two tournaments are distinctly different from the results he'd been having the couple of years previous. Now he did have the world silver in 2017, but if we look at 18, 19, 20, even some of the tournaments that were happening in early 21, and then we look at the results he's had, those are distinctly different things. And maybe it just looks just a little bit different. Maybe it's, there's no huge different things, but the outcome of what he's gotten is distinctly different.
Yeah. Well, that goes without question, going bronze and then gold.
It's not even like, and the bronze, it's not like this dude got whooped by Yugaev. He was right freaking there. I mean, like as close as you can get to beating Yugaev. So, I mean, what was this, 9 matches or 10 matches between the two tournaments, and he just looked really outstanding. I mean, think about those dudes he whooped in the wrestlebacks at the Olympics. Like those are really good guys, and he gave him the beatdown.
Yeah, he smashed them. He smashed a lot of guys here. He went pin, tech, and then kind of cruised in the final 5-0 and then 5-3.
Yeah. And I actually kind of thought that the German was kind of a bum a little bit. I actually kind of
he's a legend.
What do you mean?
I mean, he beat the Russian that he helped put us in position to
team race helps a lot.
So that's when Thomas gave up those first couple points, it was like, oh, okay, this is old Thomas. He tried rushing in and he got dumped, and then he kind of settles into his rhythm and kind of picks the guy apart and texts him the second period. I'm like, okay, well, that guy wasn't very good. But then that dude beat the Russian dude. I'm like, okay, wow, maybe I didn't give Gilman enough credit for picking that dude apart.
Yeah, I think I was super impressed with Lair, Horst Lair, which is just as good a name as they come. Horse Slayer.
Because Gilman gave up 5 points, and so he was down 5-2, and so he scored 13 points in a row on this guy. I mean, he really picked him apart. And then the guy beat the Mutaliev, and so it's like, wow, it was really, really good performance by Gilman there.
Yeah, he did great. And yeah, Spencer versus Gilman. I hope we see it. I hope we see it soon. I don't know, what's the latest on Spencer's health and where he's at with the knees and everything. That'll obviously tell how he gets through this NCAA season.
That's probably domestic match number 2 that I want to see.
Number 1.
Wait, what's 1?
Jaden Kyle.
Jaden versus Kyle.
That's a good one.
I don't know. I'm kind of ready to. I'm ready to. For me, it's the lightweights. For me, it's Spencer versus. It's Spencer versus Thomas. Listen, I'm going to say it again. Still, the match for me is Spencer Dayton. That's the match I really, really want to see. And yeah, there's Gilman. Yeah, but I don't know why. I just do. I just feel like that generation, the Spencer Dayton Soriano rivalry is just something I'm really drawn to and interested in. And after seeing Dayton's performance, I'm more interested in it because I think, now he's got to come back down to 57, which I think he will.
I would, but it does give us some great brackets.
Well, we thought we would in April, and then freaking COVID and Spencer's injuries ended up taking a lot of steam out of 57.
Yeah,
But,
I was gonna say about those matchups. I mean, it obviously adds if the matches actually mean something. So obviously, in the near future, probably in 2024, we'll see it. But Spencer and Dayton aren't wrestling off in the next couple of years. Dayton's gonna stay up. Kyle and Jaden, the same thing. Jaden's gonna stay down. So those, whereas Spencer and Thomas,
Do we know
they're gonna what?
Jaden staying
Which
down?
one?
I would assume so, but he was saying like I'm going right back up after.
no, I think Jaden's staying down.
I think
he
so, too.
he
I
uh,
think
he
Jaden's
said
staying down.
talking with him, he really wants to win a team title really badly, and I think
Clearly, he needs to stay down at 92. Then
yeah. So I think he will stay down. I think that's probably the right call.
Yeah, so then Gilman Spencer's the only one that's really for the team because those other ones are going to be different weight classes at least for the next couple of years.
What do you think about thinking about Jaden? He has another world medal. He lost to the Iranian. I think we would probably say he beats him more times than he beats him. That was tough. But his training situation, NJRTC Olympic Training Center. How important is it, in your opinion, that Jaden just has a place where he trains, and that's just like home, and you train there, and you go, and that's that? Or is it okay that it's like he's maybe splitting some time?
Yeah, I don't love that he keeps switching clubs, because he was with the Ohio RTC for a minute, and I don't know how much he actually went there. It didn't seem like it was very much. You didn't see much connection there. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I understand the allure of the RTCs, and they're probably paying us really good money. But I think, yes, it is probably important that he spends a lot of time in one place. I think it's fine to have two opinions, but if I were going to get two opinions, it'd be like I spend 80% of my time in one place, and then maybe I go, 1 month every 1 week every couple months, and get an opinion from someone else who I value their opinion, something to that effect.
Gotcha. Okay. Where else do you want to go here?
That's probably. I mean, I don't know. We talked about a lot last week, obviously. So I think we kind of have discussed everything at this point.
Gotcha. The ladies, how much? I don't know how much you dug into their performance. They're right there. I think their team next year. They're really excited. I mean, talking with Coach Steiner afterwards, he's like, we can win next year, and he was referring to some of the team they have, and then the young talent they have coming in, someone like Amita Lore, Kennedy Blades back in the mix, and there's only 10 weights, but he felt really, really excited about them. I think a big factor is 53 is tough because Amy Fernside's really, really good, but she's not a 53 really. She's too small for that weight, and we could have a potential world champion there with Jakara if she goes back down.
Yeah,
and then you get Jenna, who's world bronze, and then between Amit and Kennedy, if they get in the lineup, then it's super formidable.
Yeah. So is Helen? I guess I'm asking this question. Helen and Adeline, are they sticking around for the next till 2024? Done deal?
Well, I think Helen's. I asked Helen this specifically, and she basically said that's basically her intentions. It's what she wants to do, and she's like, things happen, things change, but that's where her head's at the current point in time. And Adeline, I don't know as much. I remember after the Olympics, she was basically like.
She came on and she wasn't happy that she had to decide so quickly if she was going to compete.
Yeah, man, and a lot of the ladies were talking about that. Tamira talked about it. Adeline talked about it. Sarah didn't talk specifically that I heard on camera about it, but apparently it was a conversation like the turnaround was really tough for them. And, they were not super, not that they didn't want to. I don't want to misrepresent, but it was a tough thing to get them all back on board and wanting to do it. It's such a quick turnaround.
Especially the ones who got what they wanted at the Olympics. And this is why we saw a lot of the Russians not do it, right? You gave Rashidov Sidikov. We saw them not turn around and wrestle again because they just got their freaking Olympic title, something you've probably strived for a very long period of time. And now they're saying, oh, hey, like how about you hop back in here and start training again 2 weeks later? Like, nah, you want to enjoy your time. So yeah, absolutely, it's tough.
Yeah. So that was great.
And, and hold on, Chris, to that point also, sorry, that a bunch of the Japanese gold medalists didn't wrestle also, right?
None.
Zero.
None.
None of their Olympians.
Okay. Yeah.
Wrestled.
None of the Olympians. Yeah.
Yeah. And their next crop is really, really good in Japan, and that was pretty obvious.
Yes.
Fujinami for me was OW and breakout star for the women. 17 years old, tacked her way to a world gold without giving up a point.
That's
ridiculous.
That's alarming. They're the gold standard for a reason. Yeah. And they won 53 at the Olympics too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're super good.
Helen, for me, if she hasn't already, she basically like cemented herself as best U.S. woman wrestler.
I saw you said this, but Adeline has 2 more titles. I guess what's your take on that?
Helen's Olympic gold, where she beat like goat of goats.
Yeah.
Trumps it for me. And she has Trailblazer.
Okay.
She was the first Olympic gold for the women.
Yeah.
And part of it is aesthetics. Like she aesthetically is a better wrestler.
Yeah.
Okay.
She is fantastic, and she once again looked great. I mean, we knew at the Olympics it's like full on Helen's back, and she was able to maintain it so well. It was awesome to see her back on top, and it's great for the program. And yeah, she's been able to do it at different weights too, which is really impressive. You know, her Olympic title I think was at 53 kilos. Now she's went 4 kilos up is substantial in the women's category. It's like there's a weight in between there, so that's pretty good. She's awesome. We didn't really talk about Snyder Sajalayev. Not that there's a ton to say, but there did seem to be a little bit of not confusion, but people were upset about the double shot clock.
I was all fired up.
Really?
I made a very compelling argument. You probably should have listened to FRL that morning.
Maybe so. I mean, when I was watching it, I was like, he's going to go on the clock again. I thought he was.
So my whole contention was the fact that someone has to get put on the shot clock twice is stupid. So here's the argument that I made very simply. Your point of the shot clock is so the match does not end 0-0, because if the match ends 0-0, you do not have a way to determine the winner. So you need a point on the board. That is the reason for the shot clock, right? And so the fact that we have to, it's almost mandated. If there's a low score, we're going to have a second shot clock in the second period. I think it's unnecessary, because if you give the first one in the first period, you've essentially now determined a winner because there is a point on the board. So in that second period, obviously, if the person being offensive has changed and the guy with 0 points is being offensive, you can reward him by giving him a shot clock point, right? If the person losing with 0 points is being really stalling a lot and it's very egregious, then yes, we can give the person with 1 point another shot clock, which would make it 2-0 and not 1-1, right? But if the action is relatively even and it's not like, oh my gosh, that one guy is stalling,
right?
Why do we need to give him a second point? Because now if Kyle Snyder scores, and anybody really, right? If they score a real point, a push-out point, for example, a real wrestling point, not a given one, not a give one because we got a shot clock, but a real wrestling point, they still lose the match. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like the need, the desire to have to give, the necessity to have to give a second point, I think is completely unnecessary, because the first point establishes what they want to happen. And if there is need for a second point, you can give it, but you don't have to do it.
Okay, well, that's two different things in my opinion, Ben. Because
what do you mean?
You're talking about your principled view
procedure.
On what you're talking about what you would prefer the rules to be. I'm talking about the way I see wrestling matches called every single time, and how they have basically said this is how we're going to call the match, right?
But there's not actually a rule that says they have to call 2 shot clocks.
No, I do think that there may be something about like a scoreless period, but
it's the first period. You can't go through the first
0-0.
period.
Yes.
Yeah.
Scoreless. Yes.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. There is no there's not a written rule that says, hey, this
the written
guy...
rule might be like, though, call passive. Like if a wrestler's being passive, called passive.
Well, that's true too. And we could debate if Kyle was or wasn't being passive, but how that second period was materializing, it seemed obvious to me that Kyle was going to go on the clock again. And that's just how we've seen it called. He wasn't controlling center. Sadulayev was. Simply put, you're going to go on the clock. He wasn't scoring. Scoring is the way to not get put on the clock. And he wasn't scoring either. Most of the time. Sometimes they get a little weird with it, and they'll put the guy on that's been scoring, put him on the clock because they think he's evading. But in general, how they call passivity is how I personally saw it called in the Sadulayev match. As much as it pains me and as much as I didn't want that to be the case, I thought he'd go on the clock again. And then it's there to be won, a takedown, and you're winning. And you get ducked and you get gutted, and then it's game over. And you got to give credit to Sadulayev. I mean, this guy, he did the turnaround he didn't have to do. Sion just rolls up. He's sitting in front. It's not even lit. I don't even know what he's doing. He's just. He may have got kicked out of.
He's in your head.
No, he's here. He's not in my head. He's just here. Here he comes, and he's want look at him. This is a Sion.
What's up, people?
What's up, Sion?
Hey, CP was
That's
in
my
Oslo,
favorite
and
flow
then I was
employee
on
right there.
Doing that morning show, and I think I saw like 3 or 4 text messages from CP and Carl. Hey, what are you doing on the show? He was calling me from Oslo.
More lies. Sion the
You
liar.
didn't call me from Oslo
Did I?
3 times?
Well, no. Did I call you?
Man, you want me to
Not
go get
about
my phone?
this.
Do you want me to go get my phone? Why would he be calling me from Oslo?
Get your phone.
I kind of don't think I called you from Oslo. If I did, it was related to other issues
Man,
we were having.
Hey, Christian, could you ask our Penn State? Oh, get back. Tell him.
Come
to get
back here. Ben wants to ask you a question, Sion. I'll relay it.
So-
This is great radio.
Sion, you're our Penn State correspondent, and the season has officially started. You got any news out of State College from?
Any news out of State College? No, he don't have any news. Listen.
Y'all leave me out of your eye.
Look at that. Hey, that's
I thought that was our correspondent.
He's no correspondent. He's no.
He's our spy.
He maybe relays the information, the flow of information to them. It's probably working that way, not the other.
Oh,
He's a
man.
double agent. There he goes. He's out the door. JD, lock it. Lock the door. I guess I did call him. Absolutely unrelated to this, but I don't remember.
All right, I have the rule book up here.
Rule book.
Anytime the refereeing body agrees the wrestler is blocking, interlocking fingers, thwarting his opponent, and or generally avoiding wrestling, the referee signals to the wrestler, caution blue or red.
Yeah. And maybe we
Anytime.
yeah.
Back to my initial point. There's no reason to give 2 points to the same person. If 1 point solves the issue, 1 point solves the issue, and then let them wrestle it out.
So
It's really simple.
But couldn't I say the same thing? Like if they give the point, it doesn't change anything for Kyle. He's got to score, right?
What do you mean? The second point? No, because at 1 point, because a push out would win it if it's 1-0.
Yeah.
It makes a big deal. Or even, even probably worse
Maybe
than
that's
that
what
would be
they're
like.
Okay. Well, here's what I think they're
even
trying
worse
to
than that,
avoid.
Christian, would be if I was almost getting a takedown and you dive out of bounds to evade the takedown. It's caution 1, and now you win 2-1.
Well, here's what I would say, and I'm not saying that's the case in the Kyle match, but what would be maybe worse is if you've got a guy that he's passive the entire first period, he gets put on the clock, and they take your interpretation, and he's passive the second period, but they don't put him on the clock, and then the last 30 seconds he steals the match with a step out. That would not be
so
ideal
to my
either.
point, he's actually scored the only offensive point. I said if it's egregious, if it's very clear, but the Snyder Sadulayev, like Sadulayev was a little more aggressive, but it wasn't like, wow, that one dude, he's being really aggressive, he's really controlling center, and the other dude, he's really passive, he's really backing away. It was like Sadulayev is probably a little more aggressive, but it's not like, oh my God stuff.
Yeah. I don't.
So we have the optionality. We have the optionality of giving a second point, but it's not mandatory.
Yes. Okay. Well, I think in general it's fine, and you got to score. You know?
Yeah,
we
kind of
can't,
hard.
we can't score on this guy. I mean, who can? You know, he did give up a weird 4. But I think,
Oh yeah, so that was
but
pretty.
if he's like, there's a different level he's bringing when he's wrestling Kyle versus when he's wrestling some of these other guys. And he's never going to give up a 4 to Kyle like that because he's just going to be so much more because he knows the level of focus he has to bring.
Yeah.
But man, the path that this guy's on is pretty incredible. And and they're not a huge American storyline here at 125, but Zare is just, this guy is phenomenal.
Potential OW. Took out 2 legends and didn't give up a point until the final.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. He moves to 2-1 against Gino, who is a legend in his own right. This guy's only 20. He cut a promo against Gable, and had the backflips and all.
Listen.
The king, and I love it.
You missed it. I already texted
Yeah.
Triple H. Set up the match. WrestleMania next summer. We already set it up.
WrestleMania.
I said the same thing.
Listen, biggest platform possible. Tell me I have great ideas, Christian. No, you stop.
Terrible
WrestleMania,
idea.
shoot match, real match, shoot match, and then they can have a budding rivalry after that.
What do you
That's
mean?
the greatest idea you've ever heard.
All right.
Terrible idea. I'm about to walk off the set because you're insults.
All right, well, stop having terrible ideas. They should do a real wrestling match. Unless you're saying,
That's what I said. I said a shoot match, a real one.
question, are there going to be
What?
turnbuckles?
No, I'm going to be the referee. There's no turnbuckles. I'm the referee.
So
Already
you're gonna get rid of the whole thing and put an actual wrestling mat down.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they're gonna do a
WrestleMania.
freestyle wrestling match at WrestleMania.
The Swayze is in the chat saying WrestleMania isn't until the spring. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Next year. That's what I said.
That would actually be a brilliant move by the WWE.
Hello. Yeah, thank you, Christian. Now you're recognizing the brilliance of my idea. And I texted
Well,
Triple
Ben.
H, and he said they're on it.
Okay, name drop. Well, here's the thing.
I'm just saying. Listen, I'm trying to make things happen here.
Well, you got to forgive me a little bit because every single other match in WWE history has been fake and without.
There's been a couple real ones.
What did they? Which of them did not involve turnbuckles? Which
And
real
actually,
one did not involve
if
turnbuckles?
If we want to go back far enough, WWE came from real wrestling. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Frank Gotch.
Yeah, if we go back far enough, it was actually real wrestling. And then somewhere along the line, right, there was a divergent path where they wanted to make it a little more exciting. So then they kind of, played into a little bit and then a little more and then a little more. You see where it goes.
Got it. And then it became a fake thing. Then it became
A multi-million, possibly $1 billion.
Listen, if Zare and Stevenson wrestle at WrestleMania next year, Christian, you're not invited.
Oh, I'm going.
You're out.
You
out.
can't-
No, you're not. You're uninvited. You're not.
StubHub,
allowed.
you can't stop me. I'll get in. WWE is a Flow Sports investor, sir. So
You're out. Well, I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna give him a picture of you. You're barred. You're out.
I can go in disguise. I'll sneak in. All right. Good job,
Look
WWE.
at how awesome would that be? And it would be the biggest platform possibly for WrestleMania. They get quite a few viewers.
Quite a several. I would love it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's go Triple H. What a
Yeah.
name drop.
They already
That's
got. Hey, listen.
one
So
of
they
the
already got one of the.
fantastic names.
FlowWrestling.org.
They already have one of the people under contract, so they just have to get the other one. It's pretty simple.
All right.
I want to see them wrestle, like, for real on FlowWrestling.org and then go fight in a ring.
Fight each other?
Yeah, just this fight.
Oh boy. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking Hulk Hogan, Iron Sheik type stuff here.
All right. Cool. Let's
Hell yeah, brother.
You guys are in. Let's talk a little more. A little Iowa wrestling. They had
Well, we should mention Hancock bringing home bronze
Okay.
before we get out of here. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Go ahead. Speak on it, sir.
Not much more to say.
Yeah, it's good. Giangelo, he said that age level success is good to see him bring it home and get it done. He was right there in that semi.
Now, him getting put on the second passive or whatever when he lost, I don't know if I agree with that. I thought that one was not warranted, but
I don't even understand the Greco rules, so I can't comment.
Greco has not 100%, but by and large part become a control center and then
Parterre.
get put on top.
Yeah, it's a parterre contest.
It's a Gadziev contest.
Get put on top, and then be good on top, and you will win.
Which
There you go.
James doesn't always play that, and he didn't, and he still won bronze. So
Yes,
props to him.
he's very good. I think, man, he could have medaled at the Olympics. I think we really felt that, and it's good to see him bringing home here. The world's really good at Greco, and it's hard to be good there. Okay, Iowa, please allow me.
Can we
Big
play
win.
a few of these videos?
Heck yeah! I want to get to this Terry one on Nelson here in a little bit because I think it's in line with a lot of what we frequently talk about on the coaching mental side of Terry's approach to Nelson. So let's play this and we can talk about it.
Oh, okay. Can I get a request in when we play this so you guys can get it queued up? I want Tom Brand's getting the Kinnick Stadium all juiced up after that.
Oh, I sent that in the chat, but I didn't put it. I didn't get it to
It's in
Tyler.
there.
All right. After the Tom Brand, our Terry Brands.
Yeah, let's do Terry now.
Approach to bringing him up in the sport. I think
Talking about Nelson.
From my vantage point was interesting because he didn't get here with, 1,500 matches under his belt. Like maybe what you see young kids growing up now wrestling so much. How did you formulate a plan for him in the sport to where, here he is at, 21, 22 years old, seems like still getting better and better and hungry to continue to learn.
Well, again, it's the same as Kyle's question was at the beginning. You get to know him. And I know my kid. I remember the first time that he wrestled. I mean, we went to a tournament and he really wasn't ready. And even in the practice room, I was like, I don't know. And he wanted to go so bad, and we went. And it was a battle. And he ended up doing a really, really good job, but it was a struggle, and the battle wasn't on the mat. The battle was emotionally. What if I get beat? Or what if I get beat, what does that mean? And if I win, what does that mean for my future? And, there was just a lot of these unspoken of questions that were being answered all at once for him. And if I didn't know my own kid, then I would not have been able to make those decisions. Now, if he was more ready earlier and could handle that emotional and that spiritual side a little bit earlier, then you go harder earlier. You go about it that way. And it's not about the matches. It's about when you're ready to compete and do you understand what competition is about. That's my opinion. That doesn't mean I'm right, but that's my opinion, and that's how he was reared. And that's how we approached him. When I say we, Michelle and I, that's how we approached him, since the second he came out of the womb. Some kids, they want to be close to your body to sleep. Some kids want to be in their bassinet, I think is a word, to sleep. And you got to know that. And if you're a hoverer or a smotherer, and that kid needs space to sleep at a really, really young age, and maybe he gets too hot. I don't know what it is, but you know what I'm talking about, right? So it's from the time that he was born all the way until the time that you decide that his career is over, that I got to be in touch with who he is. And then after his career, obviously as a dad and a mentor and a friend, our connection is very rock solid. And it's so awesome because the things that he likes to do, he likes to shoot and split wood and, stack wood and, hike and, go to the mountains and do that kind of thing. Those are the things that I like to do. And I didn't make him do that. I maybe made him work for me. Wink. But I didn't make him do that. I didn't say, you have to like this stuff. You have to like to shoot. You have to like to chainsaw. But he loves it.
So what were
Nice.
looking back?
Love the chainsaw. Hey,
Who doesn't love? I love the chainsaw.
I love
Who
the stump
doesn't?
grind, chainsaw.
It's like my life. I need Nelson Brands living in my basement or something.
Yeah. So I thought this was interesting because it's something we've talked about with youth wrestling, and some of these kids, they're wrestling like crazy. And I like how Terry was like, that could have been the case for Nelson, and they would have gone down that road if they thought that would be the right path for him. And so it was basically like, some people think they hard stop should not wrestle a bunch of matches, right? It's bad for their development. Some think, hey, let them go. They can be really good, and it's good for some kids. And I feel like Terry said that both ways are correct, and the correct way for Nelson, which is playing out, was less early, more on the back end of his quote-unquote wrestling career. So I thought that was interesting, and I figured, Ben, that would be something that you'd be fascinated to hear.
Yeah, no, I really liked it. I thought he's nailed it, spot on, and I agree completely. Now let's hear Tom get him all juiced up at Kinnick Stadium.
All right, we got that. We got this footage.
Come on, this is awesome.
This is a big weekend in Iowa City. Let's
From
play
our man, Big Jim Kelly.
Big Jim Kelly. Let's go. And we're going to play this.
I think we're going to play it. Are we going to play it?
This is if you don't know, if you don't have a television or phone, Iowa beat Penn State at Iowa. It was 3-4. It was a crazy game.
Both undefeated.
And this was the Iowa recruiting weekend. They had all these guys there. Jesse Mendez was there, Jess Rogue, all these guys. And what a weekend for them to be there. And Tom the team was on the field, and Tom grabbed the mic and gave a quick minute speech and got the crowd fired up. Here you go. Maybe.
Coach of the Year, Head Coach Tom Brown.
Boy, you are awesome. But I got this interview from here. Look at these guys. They're hungry and lean and mean like that hawk that was on the field. I love that hawk that was on this field. Anybody, anytime, anywhere. State College, Detroit, Lincoln, Nebraska. We don't care. We love these guys. We love you guys. In Iowa Hawkeye football, we need a third quarter, and we need a fourth quarter.
So they go on to they beat Penn State.
Oh, you gotta put the picture up. Yes, look at this.
Oh, look at these guys. Jacob Warner, the ladies' man himself.
Ladies' man, Max Murin.
And Max Murin, the snake keeper. The crocodile hunter.
Snake whisperer.
The snake whisperer, the parcel tongue, the crocodile hunter, Max Murin on the field. It's probably, yeah. So it seemed like
that was awesome.
If you're listening, they pop tops.
Yeah, oh yeah. Jean shorts for Jacob Warner, classic shorts.
It went chicken fight style.
Yeah. So
to get the crowd fired up.
That must have been a wild scene.
That's what won Iowa the game.
Max
right
Murin.
there. Yep.
Max Murin and Jacob Warner. Well, who's to say?
And now they're ranked number 2 in the country. It wasn't Penn State's number 1 QB getting hurt and their backup being awful. It wasn't that. It was.
We got excuses. Didn't you hear Tom Rance? Anytime, anyone, anywhere, State College, Detroit, Lincoln, Nebraska. Well, these guys don't care.
JD, the Hawkeye hater. He's from the greater Iowa State area, Jewel, Iowa, Hamilton County. And he's going to be
Hawkeye hater JD.
He and Sion going to bring the Hawkeye hate for sure.
No hate for the Hawkeyes. They're number 2 in the country.
Oh, that was hate. Yeah, you're taking
it's
away.
It's a fact that Penn State's quarterback got hurt and their backup was not good. That is just a fact.
Oh
yeah.
My gosh.
Oh wow.
Excuses.
Hey Ben, there was an injury in football. How crazy. What a bananas thing to have happened. What's next, Ben? Listen.
Wow, JD. What excuses. Hey, so that got me all jacked up. When the hell does Iowa wrestle Penn State? Is it on the schedule?
It's around
January 28th. I might book my hotel already. Christian, are we going to that? Because we went last time.
Let's go.
We should go? Me and
I'll
you?
bring Caleb again. Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Radio show or what?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, let's do it. I'm in.
Let's go it. Let's we'll get it. We'll get it in the budget. We'll go. It'll be a great time. It's gonna be insane. It's gonna be crazier than the last one.
You think so, or you think Iowa runs away with it? Because if they don't figure out something to 25, Spencer Lee's getting 6 there. Let's see. Then we're gonna go 3.
5.
We're gonna go 3. We're gonna go 49. Who do they have 49?
Wait, you're just saying 3. 3 for who at 33?
Penn State. Penn's giving Roman, and I'm giving Nick Lee. They are national champs, so I think it's fair to give them the wins.
Diplomatic
right?
of you. Yes, I think that's fair.
Diplomatic. Then Iowa's going to win at 49. Iowa wins at 57. Iowa wins at 65.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
But
then
Mm-hmm.
74, 84, go Penn State's way. 97. Ooh, maybe though we're tied. We're tied going into heavyweight. Oh, it's gonna be lit.
Kirkfleet,
Let's do it.
Cassiope.
And listen, Kurt, it's going to be interesting. I mean, Cassiope's got this like physical transformation. He's going to be awesome. Kirkfleet's going to be better next year too, guys. I mean, both these guys are going to be better.
Yeah.
Cassiope's going to be better. Kirkfleet's going to be better. I think the match could look different in a couple ways. One, I mean, if Kirkfleet can't, if he goes bottom and again, I don't know. He may still be there, but if he can make it about neutral, it's an interesting match, right? But we'll see. I mean, we saw what this guy did at trials. We know he's there neutral wise, but 7 minutes with Cassiope will be another thing. And 25, you know, they're let's just say it. They're hoping for Soriano. They want Soriano, right? They're in pursuit of him, right? And
But he is not enrolled.
That would be second semester as well.
That'd be second semester.
Yeah, second semester.
But he is
Not
what?
enrolled anywhere right now.
No,
He's not enrolled anywhere right now.
It wouldn't be till January if it happens. But yeah, if they get Soriano, then I don't think he's beating Spencer. But you're not getting teched. You're not getting pinned.
Yeah.
I don't think. That'll be crazy. But here's the thing.
Well, so
that'll have a bigger impact on the team race than dual meet, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, but in a dual meet, that would mean. I mean, obviously, crazy stuff can happen, but that would mean that Penn State, under my scenario, Penn State's leading going into heavyweight because Soriano doesn't give a bonus.
True.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be an insane duel. I mean, Penn State was doing. It looked like they were going to upset them last time in 2019 when we were there, and then Kimmer flipped the script and beat Mark Hall, and then they were able to go on and win. Because remember, they took the default loss at 33 with DeSanto and RBY, and then 41 I think didn't go their way because I don't even think Mirren wrestled, if I'm remembering correctly, and Nick Lee beat up Happel. I could be completely misremembering. I'm going.
No. Mirren didn't wrestle. It was Lee beat up on somebody. I don't recall who it was.
Yeah. So and then boom, Kimmer flipped it, beat them because Chenzo beat Bull finally in a crazy match. It was a crazy duel. One of the crazier duels
that was awesome.
So exciting stuff there.
Back in Carver too.
Back in Carver. Yeah, they kind of get the twofer there.
Yeah.
Which is sort of rare. I don't want to just kind of regurgitating a little bit of what I just heard, but some of the more interesting things from Coach Brands. He talked openly about how like they know when Spencer graduates, there's going to be all kinds of people coming after him trying to get him to their RTC, and they know that they feel good about keeping him, but they understand that everyone and their brother is going to want Spencer, right?
Yeah.
He talked about DeSanto and that he wished the public could see what they see from him, almost all the time. And that, he said like, hey, he can't get out of his own way sometimes, but he really went to bat for him and vouched for him. And I thought one of the most interesting parts was, I think the question was contrasting or comparing his first crop that won 3 titles in a row versus this crew he's got here and the similarities and differences. And he said, these guys love being on the mat. They love to wrestle. And they had a class kind of between there that they were highly touted, but weren't really super in love with wrestling all the time. And that he felt like that played out on the mat. And so that's just a huge, huge part of it. And I think it's something they learned from in recruiting. It's like, it's not just about who they are and how good they are now, but just how much they love it. And I think that's one of the biggest jobs of the college coaches is actually being able to discern how much the kids really love it. Right.
Yes. Huge.
How do you figure that out? Cause every kid's going to tell you they love it. And all the coaches are probably going to tell you when Tom and Kale come to the coach, they want think of what it means. I mean, someone like Jody, it's different because he's, but like a lot of these club coaches, it's like you want to tell your guy, yeah, you want to advocate for your guy. That's being a good coach to say, yes, Coach Brands, yes, Coach Sanders. They love it. They really want to do it. So it's, how do you figure out what kind of investigation do you have to do to figure out, do they really love it? And they're clearly both teams are doing a good job of that now.
It's such a trick. Obviously now, with the club coaches there, because I feel it, right. I gotta be totally honest, because if I gotta see the future a little bit, because if I predict wrong for someone, they're less likely to trust me the next time.
Yes.
So I want to be fully upfront with them. I want to be on point when I give them a read on a kid or what I think about a kid. I want to make sure I nail it. But yes, obviously, for like you said, for say a high school coach, how many kids is he going to send to Iowa or Penn State, right? So it's a big deal that they do that the right way.
Of course.
Yeah.
What else did he say? He talked about Spencer would have beat Gilman in the 2020 trials, and that he said, "Hey,
he said 5 Olympic gold medalists," which I'm not sure where he's getting all them from. I wish they would interview her and said, "Nate, who are they?"
Well, I think he thought the ladies that left.
Which they would have won, because none of them won the Olympics.
Yeah, I think he's the idea is that they would have if they were there.
Okay.
I don't know. Sure. I don't necessarily agree they would have had 5 Olympic gold medals, but I certainly believe that Tom Brands probably believes that. It's probably all that matters. And Terry sort of alluded to the Gilman thing too. They're not saying his name, but they're alluding to him. Like, basically, when Spencer got there, he said, some people around Spencer's weight left because of who he was and what he was going to do. And, obviously the only guy in the Hawkeye Wrestling Club that left around Spencer's time other than Tony which really Tony was before Spencer, was Gilman.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how much that is coming up.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I'm pumped. Let's see it.
I know. If we can only see it. So, other Iowa news, this massive recruiting week, the biggest news, they got a couple guys, but they got Nate Jesseroga. And Jesseroga is just, I think so highly of him. And before who's number one, and cadet trials, like, this guy is just going to work at the next level. And he's someone who, year one, I think could probably go and have a big impact. Now, will it fit lineup-wise for him to go right away? I don't know. But you want to talk about a logjam at Iowa, Jesseroga is not going to be a part of that in terms of, he's not going to be someone, in my opinion, that's going to have to be behind anyone. I think he's going to go right away whenever he wants to and be an impact guy. And I think it's going to be he and Drake, 25-33, some combination.
1-2 punch.
They're going to be nasty. They're going to be super good. And I like Jesseroga a lot.
It's funny, Brands was talking about recruiting not from Iowa, and then they go get 2 of arguably Iowa's biggest recent recruits.
Well, yeah, I think if you look back then, who's he talking about? Well, you could speculate, but it was a big deal at the time when Freddie Stroker left the state.
Really?
At the time, listen, Ben,
Most
Stroker was beating Kimmer. Stroker beat Kimmer. There was like
forgot that.
The stroke. It's so funny now because the debate was like Stroker, Shenzo, Kimmer, and who's who, and those guys were like, it was kind of dealer's choice at the time, like who's better.
Sure.
And ultimately, obviously, we see how it played out. Kimmer was great, Shenzo was great, and Stroker it didn't work out at the next level. But when he got out, it was like, okay, is this good? Is this bad? But they got Kimmer, right? And that ultimately played out.
Well, half of their lineup currently is Pennsylvania and has been for a few years now.
Yes.
So, yeah.
But
they almost have no native Iowa borns in their – who do they have?
Well, Nelson.
None. Well, Nelson wasn't in
lineup?
the starting lineup last year.
No, Nelson started.
Not the NCAAs?
Oh.
Am I forgetting?
Well, yeah. He was there 84.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're right.
He didn't
Damn
place.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're they realize, well, what the country realizes, like, you can't just win with just Iowa guys. You got to pick.
Yes.
But Drake and Nate they're just going to work out. It's very obvious they're going to be super good at the next level, right?
Were there any Iowa guys that they missed on that went and did
No.
well somewhere else?
Who?
See, I'm not really great on the high school recruiting stuff.
There was a name. I mean, no, I don't know. Not many. Iowa was down nationally for a bit there.
Got it.
I don't know if JD doesn't know. Lord knows I don't.
They didn't miss out on anybody that really panned out.
Right. So
JD, you don't remember any? Come on.
Well, there was some like decent recruits, but nobody that ended up going.
You know, one they wanted, but I think it was Teskey. Teskey was
He's kind of panning out a little bit.
That's a good one.
He panning out.
Yeah.
They liked Teskey a lot. Penn State liked Teskey a lot.
Thompson went to Nebraska.
Alex Thompson, he was a big recruit at the time. So yeah, not too many, not a ton. But yeah, you got to recruit nationally for sure, and even it's funny because Penn State's kind of similar too. Like they're all over the map as well. Like as great as Pennsylvania is, they've had to go elsewhere. Aaron Brooks is Maryland. RBY.
They actually don't recruit a lot of Pennsylvania, I feel like.
Well, they do and they don't. I mean, they have, but like Kirkfleet's not. Beard is. Max Dean is not.
Soroki is.
Srirachi is.
And they had a good stretch there with Chenzo. Nolf Zane was obviously for a minute. But yeah, now Nico, the majority of their lineup is not Iowa, not Pennsylvania. And a lot of the Pennsylvania guys from the era went to Iowa.
Yeah, fascinating.
Yeah.
They also picked up Aiden Riggins, another big in-state recruit.
And Hunter Mason to Virginia Tech. Go Hokies.
This morning.
That's big news for...
Hawks also got Mickey Griffith and Carson Martinson.
Talk about Riggins and Griffith a little bit, JD.
Middleweight guys, solid. Riggins was in the Fargo finals this year. I think did he take third at Akron? Or did he make the finals?
No, he made the finals. He beat Scholes in the semis.
Didn't he? He took a match from Haynes, I think.
Yes. He made the finals. He took one match.
That's a big deal. Haynes is quite good.
Yeah, I know his camp was kind of partying for him to maybe get into who's number one, but he's on that big national level.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to some questions. There's more Iowa discussion to be had for sure as we're gearing up for the D1 season. But we want to get to some questions here. 9:33, deep in the heart of Texas. From Coach Jason Cook, were the wings, or as I call them, arm bars, coming in bunches due to the lower level of competition? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think it's one of those things come in waves. Like I remember 2014 Worlds, all the Russians were hitting fireman's carries and dumps, and just like sometimes you just bring something new that is not new, but maybe it hasn't been around as much, and then boom, they're dumping everyone, and then it changes. And I think the wings were kind of like our version of that, and it's something that's it's maybe completely unique to American wrestling. And Helen said she saw David, or maybe it was I forget who she said she saw do it, or Thomas maybe. She's like, wait, I can do that. I should just do that. And then she hits the bar. She said it was funny, her interview. She's like, I can just see something and just remember how to do it, and then it's in my mind to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I would be more interested on Ben's perspective.
No, I think you nailed it. I think sometimes it's just like that where, they start catching things, and probably, almost a little bit of a coincidence that there was so many of them. Like if you go the next time, it probably won't be that way. It's not like all of a sudden this technique can take over. That's just not going to happen.
No, yeah, there's really very little technique that's just going to have, it's that nuance that can just be a thing. It's not going to be the new gut wrench, right? On bars that are going to do.
Yes.
But I do think it does have a sneak element, just like the bar half thing, like that David hit. He hits that. That's not the first time he's hit that. He hit that in Reagan. There's a surprise element that the folk style brings.
Yeah. Yeah, it was especially because so many of those guys have not ever felt that, right? So they're a little bit vulnerable. I mean, it's not going to work on top regularly because you don't have the time, right? It's not like you can spend a minute on top and work through it. But once in a while, you're definitely gonna be able to sneak that one in there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious how does now Spencer's got good regular parterre, but do you think he could ever we see him using his bar tilts or roll through stuff in freestyle?
Yeah, I mean, like if you say running behind and they reach the arm out and he catches the bar on the way back, for sure he could use it. I mean, but I think the thing with Spencer is he uses so many laces, so he might not put himself in position, right? The gut wrench transitions is where you can sometimes catch those arms. And if he's down on the laces, then it won't be the case.
Yes.
Who knows what his parterre looks like now?
Yeah, he's really. I mean, he's good lace to gut too. He'll work the lace and he'll come up. Who was doing that? Someone was doing that really well for Team USA. Was it? I don't know if it was Jaden. I don't remember. It's all I blacked out, but it definitely happened. Lace to gut. Next question from at some point today: is Gilman the most disrespected wrestler in American history? Wow. For years, fans have viewed him as just a placeholder for Spencer. Sort of true. Even minutes after winning gold, there were people, Ben, tweeting about Spencer.
For the record, on this show, I said he is now one of the best lightest weights in American history.
Yes.
After he won.
Listen, I got Gilman's back. I was talking positive about him all day when you guys are trying to throw him under the bus after this Terry Rand's interview.
Who threw him under the bus? I throw it. You just made that up out of nowhere.
No, I had to bring you guys back. He's world champ. He's been killing. He's jumped levels. Even if Spencer maybe got the better of him in the room, it's a different guy. I want to see it. Listen, I didn't even say Spencer's gonna get him. I just said I want to see the match. That's a reasonable comment to have. I want to see the match. Bottom line, Thomas
is Gilman been disrespected?
Leading up to this, not really. I feel like he's been accurately represented.
I think
yes, I agree.
I would say the disrespect was disrespect. I don't know if that's the word. I think it was calling it what it was leading into the trials.
Yes.
The guy lost to Seth. He got pinned by Zach Sanders.
Yeah. And so, I mean, if we look at Thomas's career, I would say accurately represented is a very good way to put it, JD. I mean, he never won an NCAA title. Then his senior year, he comes out and shocks everyone and makes the world finals. Like no one, how could you predict that? He almost got knocked out of the last chance tournament, which was his chance to qualify for World Team Trials by, I don't even flip and remember, the Shazer, someone who was not that great.
Shazer doesn't hurt his wrist that year. Thomas Gilman doesn't win silver.
Yeah. Okay. So then there's that, and then he gets
go back
beat
and
off
watch the match.
Team by stop. He gets beat off the team by Dayton Fix, and then he has a few bad losses in. I can't remember, was it Iranian or Azerbaijani or something like that, where we're like, Azeri, yeah, and we're like, okay, wow, maybe he's, and so, yeah, we didn't think he was going to make the team this year, and then all of a sudden, but now he's had 2 chances in the last 3 months to prove that he's really jumped levels, and he has. So Thomas Gilman, between the time frames of July 2021 and October 2021, is a different one, and now if you look back at his career, it's just a different story, completely different story. So no, I don't think he's been disrespected.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And I think it's just natural that people are gonna. Well, one, Spencer is just going to be a lightning rod for discussion throughout his career, but we've got a 3-time, probably soon, definitely soon to be a 4-time champ that a lot of people think is the best lightweight, fair or not, in America, and that's just good, healthy discussion that people want to see that match,
agree.
right? I mean, I think that's just good, right? I think, we don't have a lot of weights where it's like that. Like,
we're starting to get there.
Well, I mean, who is the obvious match you want to see Jordan against? I don't know. Who's the obvious match for? Yeah, exactly. Different weight classes.
But even, I mean, so skill level wise, they're just placed at the Worlds, 79 kilograms.
No doubt.
So.
But there's not
there.
You don't watch.
He's placing. You're just placing at the Worlds.
But Ben, you don't watch Jordan win Worlds and be like, I gotta see Daringer versus Burroughs.
But it's just because we just saw it. But if
we hadn't seen it,
we would not clamor
for Christian Piles. Let me tell you something real quick, right here, brother.
Okay, all right, brother.
If Jordan Burroughs had gotten hurt prior to the September World Team Trials.
Mhm.
Okay. Alex Dieringer goes and gets a silver medal at Worlds. Okay. Are you saying I want to see that match? Because I bet you are.
Yes.
I want to see how Jordan does. Alex just took a silver. So you are. I mean, Dieringer's really good.
Listen, I feel like this is about
There's
Alex
other
Dieringer
things.
now. Yeah, there's other things, but there's not a thing like this because there's an element of unknown with Spencer because of his lack of senior level matches, whereas we've seen Dieringer, right? And we've seen Jordan as well. Now we want to see them against each other.
Yes.
I don't know who at 61 am I like, I gotta see Dayton versus this guy. I don't know. Roman.
Well, he just killed them all. That's why. Oh, that's a good one.
I want to see the Vito rematch. Vito just beat him in Olympic trials. I know Dayton's different, and that's why I want to see it.
Built different.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. There's not a match like Spencer Gilman out there.
But it's not just because it's not exclusively because of the skill levels. It's because there's a lot of other things tied to it.
Because Spencer's been a star since he was 10 years old.
Well, it's because
they were in the same wrestling room, and because Gilman went to Nittany Lion. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are tied to it that make it extra exciting.
Cool. Yes, there's definitely a lot. But no, I don't think Thomas Gilman's getting a lot of respect right now. Dake was very complimentary of how much better Gilman's gotten to. Everyone's taken notice. This may be the last question. How did the great Oklahoma State University Cowboys handle 25-33-41?
Didn't we talk about this?
I think it's sort of obvious. The real Avery Lynch. Avery Lynch is a frequent question asker, so I'll indulge him even if we've talked about it. But it seems obvious to me it's going to be Mastro, Dayton, Carter Young. I think they view Carter as a 41. I think that makes sense for their lineup. I think Dayton is perfectly suited for 33, and I think Mastro at 25 is the only place he can start, and he's good.
Yeah.
So go with it. I think that's their lineup.
Christian, I was watching Dayton at the Worlds, and he looks kind of big and thick. Like, I think he kills it at 41 also. Especially if Yanni moves to 49. Like, Dayton at 41 is kind of interesting to me also.
Yeah, I think Yanni's going to go 49. It's not decided at this point, or it wasn't as of Worlds determined what he's going to do. But if he goes 41, it's going to be – we're not going to see him much at all. It'll be like an EIWA's, NCAA's thing because he's big. So I don't see that. Well, Ben is now he's yawning, so maybe time to go. Ben is exhausted. Are you getting enough sleep?
Yeah, I just yawned. Just a lack of oxygen to the brain. That's it. Well, actually, 2 nights ago, my kids were up. Like, every one of my kids woke up in the middle of the night, freaking, and my dog. WTF?
Really?
Can't you people go to sleep? Yeah, it was annoying as shit.
How's everything else going?
Everything's great.
Yeah, everything's great. All right. We'll table some.
Don't your kids ever wake up still, Christian, or no?
They're pretty good sleepers.
No.
They sort of always have been. I mean, I can't remember the last time.
Ozzy's always been terrible. Andy was really good. Alex was good at night, but didn't take naps. But 2 nights ago, they were all up. Andy was wandering around trying to sleep in our bed. Ozzy was up yelling about. My wife tried giving him. What she tried giving him? Some water or something. He didn't want it. He flipped out in the middle of the night because he didn't want the water. It was
It happens more when they're around that age. Mine are 8 and 10. Caleb, he gets up too early. We're trying to keep him in bed. He gets up and he's eating his breakfast and reading and I don't know, watching baseball highlights when he gets up.
There you go.
So yeah, there you go. All right, let's get the heck out of here. 9:44 deep in the heart of Texas. We'll be back tomorrow, no doubt about it. We'll talk some more Worlds because I have a few more things to get to. We'll talk some more D1, Iowa, Penn State, team race stuff. I think we're going to have some fun news to talk about tomorrow that you don't know about yet. I'll text you.
You son of a bitches. Keep me in the dark. I don't appreciate it.
1 o'clock. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. For Murphy, JD, and Ben Askin, I'm Christian Piles. Have a great day. Goodbye.